Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and welcome the doctoral candidates of the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences for 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Dean and faculty of the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences.
Please be seated. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Michael King, Marshal of the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences. On behalf of the Dean and the faculty of the Columbian College, I am delighted to welcome you to this hooding ceremony for the Columbian College in the 98th year of the George Washington University. We congratulate all of our doctoral candidates and join with you, their families and friends, in celebration this weekend as we share sincere pride in our graduates' achievement. To begin our program, let me introduce Jeffrey Brand, Associate Dean for Graduate Studies, who will extend his greetings to all of our doctoral candidates. Dean Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this doctoral hooding ceremony in the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences. I'm honored to be addressing you on this joyous occasion. We're here to recognize and celebrate the achievements of our candidates for the Doctor of Psychology and Doctor of Philosophy. Candidates, you're on the verge of something big. You're going to become doctors. And the title of doctor is a wonderful title to carry around with you. However, I've learned that there are times you want to use this title, maybe even brag about it, and then there's times you don't want to do that. And I want to give you some pointers, some guidelines about which situation is which. So first, let's say you have a relative, like a great-grandmother, who always wanted you to become that other kind of doctor, the medical kind. I know some of you have this grandmother, this great-grandmother, and you're wondering, is it okay for her to tell her friends that you're a doctor now? You're wondering, and I'm here to tell you, yes, it's okay. She's not lying. Let her do it. There are other kinds of situations, as I'm sure you can imagine. If you're on a crowded airplane and an announcement comes over the loudspeaker, is there a doctor on board? Please raise your hand. Is it okay to raise your hand in that situation? No. No, it is not. Now, so much lies ahead for all of you. Some of you are bound for academic positions, others for clinical practice, postdoctoral fellowships, or positions in industry or government or consulting. Some of you will become entrepreneurs or writers or public intellectuals. And some of you are probably planning to kick back, enjoy a long, lazy summer, and then begin another doctoral degree program in September. Some of you are planning to do this. We know who you are. And we have trained professionals stationed at the exits to take you into custody after the ceremony for your own protection. But for the rest of you, you've reached the end of your formal education, and I want to say a few serious things to you. The first is that you've accomplished something immensely difficult. And I hope the next time you're about to start something that's challenging, intimidating, you're not quite sure you can see it through, I hope you'll always say to yourself, well, I finished my doctorate, so I bet I can do this. Another thing is that you've earned the right to call yourself an expert in something. Of course, there's many ways to acquire expertise. Pursuing a doctorate is only one way, but it is a special way. By earning a doctorate, you've demonstrated the ability and dedication that's necessary to contribute to the fund of publicly available knowledge in your dissertation or your major area paper. Obviously, you're likely to use your newly recognized expertise to excel in your chosen field, but I believe there's something else expertise can actually do for you. I think acquiring real expertise in one area of knowledge, however specialized it may be, can and should give you appreciation for expertise wherever it may be found. Your expertise should instill in you a kind of intellectual humility. And perhaps not just intellectual humility, perhaps just humility. The American humorist Will Rogers once said, quote, "There's nothing so stupid as an educated man if you get him off the thing he was educated in. You are now very educated women and men, but I hope you won't be the stupid kind. And I hope if you are like that, you'll at least recognize your own limitations and respect the expertise of others. Respect them even if they don't have as many fancy letters after their name as you do, even if they don't get to call themselves a doctor. I want to take a brief moment to thank our wonderful staff for organizing this event, especially Anna Marie Siegel, Nicole Davidson, Adrian Douglas, Melissa Buskell, Devon Henderson, and Diana Willis. And in closing, I want to extend heartfelt congratulations to all of you, the doctoral candidates in the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences for 2018-19. It's been my honor and pleasure to serve as your graduate dean for the past 5 years, and I wish you all every success and happiness in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Brand. It is now my pleasure to call upon Interim Dean Paul Walbeck to offer formal good wishes and deliver his charge to today's doctoral candidates. A professor of political science and interim dean of the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences, Dean Walbeck is an acknowledged teacher scholar who joined the leadership team of the college in 2016. With our faculty, he has continued the tradition of excellence that is at the core of the Columbian College. And now, Dean Walbeck, I am pleased to present to you the doctoral candidates of the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences, the class of 2019.
Dr. King, distinguished members of the faculty, doctoral candidates, family, and friends. It's an honor to be standing here before you in what's an important part of the commencement exercises. Before I get started, I'd like to thank Dr. King, who has served as college marshal since 1990. This is his last year in that role. As many of you know, Dr. King chairs our chemistry department. But what you may not know is that when Dr. King was an undergraduate at the Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago, my father taught his class in physical chemistry. Because Michael went on to do great things in chemistry, I'd like to think my dad played a big role in sparking his interest and eventual pursuit of a doctorate in chemistry, or at least that's the family lore. The fact that we share this stage together today is proof of the uncanny twists and turns of life, the encounters that can make such a difference in the impact of our relationships, whether they're with family, friends, colleagues, or mentors on the paths we pursue. Our journeys are made up of hundreds of special moments, and today is one of them. When I completed my PhD, I would not have attended my hooding ceremony if it were not for my wife's insistence. She understood what I did not at that time, but now do, the importance of taking the time to pause, acknowledge, and celebrate life's significant accomplishments. Your hooding, in all that it represents, is an achievement that will echo throughout your life. And we, your faculty, along with your family and friends gathered here today, congratulate you for a job well done. Today's ceremony is steeped in centuries-old tradition and pageantry. It was at some point in the dark days of medieval Europe when the practice of conferring a doctoral hood was first adopted. Hooding was a mark of distinction and recognition. These were the days when scholars, teachers, and professors also took ecclesiastical vows and wore skull caps to cover their partially shaved heads. Long flowing gowns kept scholars warm as they studied in the alcoves in frigid temperatures. And academics' dress mimicked that of clerics. And what academics wore was a symbol of learnedness in a time when knowledge was held by precious few. The hood, therefore, was something like a peacock's feathers, intended to inspire awe and impress onlookers to see what people might not otherwise see. one's education. In the 14th century, the practice of hooding and wearing of academic regalia was stepped up a notch in England, with universities having distinct caps, gowns, and hoods, and different colors based on academic discipline. One's regalia also varied according to academic rank and achievement. Undergraduates typically wore black gowns with beaver-backed hoods or hoods of wool. Accomplished professors with doctoral degrees wore silk-backed hoods or beautiful hoods lined in fur. In the 18th century, the practice of wearing academic regalia and being hooded hopped upon to the United States. In fact, many faculty in the 19th century were expected to teach in their gowns and hoods, a practice we don't continue at this point. Today, the hooding ceremony is emblematic of the passing of the guard and knowledge from one generation of doctors to the next. Your days of being a student are over. It is now your turn to confer knowledge and advance your field. The hood symbolizes the power of knowledge and creativity and its transformative force to improve the world through your work. This ceremony is an endpoint, but it also marks a new beginning. I would like to leave you with 3 things to think about as you begin the next stage of your journey. First, be grateful. Thank your parents, your extended family, your friends, your mentors, whoever helped you become the person you are today. And don't stop thanking them. Showing gratitude throughout your life is part of what makes us a community. And sharing our joys and successes, as well as our difficulties and struggles, with those for whom we care most deeply is an incredibly satisfying and mutually rewarding experience. Second, take risks. Life is about change, about evolving, about making mistakes and learning from them, about navigating through every experience and building upon every success. I've been thinking a lot about this during the past year because of my role as interim dean. To be honest, I embraced the opportunity of not quite being permanent. It gave me the chance to do something new. It's been challenging, but an extremely rewarding experience. And that's what it's all about. Just think, you were an undergrad just a few years ago. Now you've earned a doctorate. Next, you may be a junior faculty member, a postdoc fellow, an analyst. Before you know it, you might be a principal investigator involved in cutting-edge research, or running an academic department, or even a university. So don't get too comfortable. When you stop taking chances, you stop learning, achieving, and making an impact. Which brings me to my third point, stay engaged. You came to GW to pursue your doctorate because you wanted to be part of something that was bigger than yourself. You wanted to make a difference, to work alongside top scholars and be connected to the nation's top research organizations and cultural centers. Stay true to that passion, and don't get sidetracked by a rejected manuscript or a negative review. We need your broad-based knowledge. We need your evidence-based decision-making, your ability to reason, and perhaps most importantly, your intellectual passion. We need these things more than ever to help bridge differences, make new discoveries, change lives, and create positive change. Receiving your doctoral hood from GW places you in some pretty distinguished company. A little-known fact about Columbian College is that it was one of the first PhD granting institutions in the United States. The college's first Doctor of Philosophy degree was awarded to 2 already sitting faculty members, Professor of Latin, Andrew Montague, and Professor of Mathematics and German, James Howard Gore. The graduates who followed them were impressive. They include Ralph Alpher, the world-renowned physicist and publisher of The Big Bang Theory, who received his PhD from Columbian College in 1948, and Julius Axelrod, the Nobel laureate and celebrated NIH neuroscientist who graduated from the college in 1955 with a doctorate in pharmacology. Now it's your turn. When I look out at you today, I see amazing potential looking back at me. I see movers and shakers, problem solvers and healers, thinkers and doers. You've written formulas, analyzed policy, deciphered our evolutionary past, delved deep into the inner workings of the brain, and searched for ways to tackle climate change. The collective moments you've experienced at GW and the connections you've made, these are the things you'll continue to draw upon as you move forward. I'm humbled by your talent and passion, and thankful for the part we played in helping you get here. Wherever your journey takes you, value what you bring to the table and continue to hone and draw from the depths of your expertise. As you reflect on your years here, picture for a moment the face of someone who helped you arrive at this moment today. A classmate, a family member, a teacher. Those are the faces you'll never forget. For someone, someday, you'll be the face they never forget. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey. Congratulations and good luck to you all.
Thank you, Dean Walbeck. And thank your father, too. It is now our pleasure to introduce one by one your sons and daughters, spouses, parents, and special friends whose noble achievement we celebrate today with the presentation of their doctoral hood. In order that none of the names of our honorees will get lost, we ask that you withhold your most exuberant good wishes until all of the graduates have been presented, at which time we will join together in saluting all. As each of the doctoral candidates is introduced, they will be joined by their faculty mentor or advocate who will assist the dean in hooding the candidate. And now, as Dean Walbeck takes his place in the front of the podium, let me ask the marshals to please bring the candidates forward to the stage. Again, please hold your more spirited congratulations until all have been presented.
The candidates for the Doctor of Psychology: Alexander Abramowitz, hooded by Professor Loring Ingram. Faith Adebole, hooded by Professor Loring Ingram. Natalia Nicole Bias, hooded by Professor Karen Weiss. Greta Rose Carlson, hooded by Professor Paul Ghetto. Rachel Heimberg, hooded by Professor Karen Weiss. Celeste McDonald Kelly, hooded by Professor Paul Ghetto. Shelley Marfori, hooded by Professor Laura Sheehy. Nicole Moore, hooded by Professor Richard Ruth. Jonathan Mussman, hooded by Professor Richard Ruth. Ryan Michael Shea, hooded by Professor Richard Ruth. Lisa Small, hooded by Professor Laura Sheehy. Amanda Thompson, hooded by Professor Karen Weiss. Jennifer A. Tollefson, hooded by Professor Sarah Headland. Mylin Yorks, hooded by Professor Karen Weiss. The candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy: Rodrigo Aguayo Romero, Clinical Psychology, hooded by Professor Mariah Cecilia Z. Lema Al-Humaydan, Economics, hooded by Professor Donald Parsons. Joseph Aurleth, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Sanjay Pandey. Diana Bailey, Chemistry, hooded by Professor Houston Miller. Elham Bakhtari, History, hooded by Professor Benjamin Hopkins. Matthew Bendel, Genomics and Bioinformatics, hooded by Professors Keith Crandall and Douglas Nixon. Marine Boisi Kobar, Molecular Medicine, hooded by Professor Norman Lee. Rachel Breslin, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Sanjay Pandey. Congratulations. Okay. Erica Walls, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Joseph Cordis. Melanie Brown, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Kathy Newcomer. Michael Brown, Economics, hooded by Professor Frederick Utes. Congratulations. Brian Bruin, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Leighton Koo. Rachel Burga, Microbiology and Immunology, hooded by Professors Catherine Bollard and Rohan Fernandez. Ji-Chung Chai, Statistics, hooded by Professor Tapan Nayak. Jessica Chandras, Anthropology, hooded by Professor Joel Kuipers. Gao Chen, Economics, hooded by Professor Jay Shambaugh. Oksana Chubenko, Physics, hooded by Professor Harold Greishammer. Kimberly P. Clark, English, hooded by Professor Antonio Lopez. Ji Shuang, Statistics, hooded by Professor Feifang Hu. Lindsay Davis, American Studies, hooded by Professor Thomas Guglielmo. Sarah Daisy, Molecular Medicine, hooded by Professors Kent Hunter and Norman Lee. Lawrence Dumichel, Hominid Paleobiology, hooded by Professor Andrew Barr. Sarah Ekman, Political Science, hooded by Professor Sarah Binder. Didam Egeman, Statistics, hooded by Professor Rafiq Sawyer. Jill Verrett, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Yaz Naqib. Lauren Fowler, Applied Social Psychology, hooded by Professor Philip Moore. Darren Gollier, Cognitive Neuroscience, hooded by Professor Stephen Dopkins. Zikun Gao, Statistics, hooded by Professor Judy Wang. Marta Henoves, Clinical Psychology, hooded by Professor Mimi Lee. Congratulations. Maya Giladi, English, hooded by Professor Antonio Lopez. Rochelle Golden, Chemistry, hooded by Professor Houston Miller. Chan Kuo, Economics, hooded by Professor Michael Moore. Jonathan Hack, Political Science, hooded by Professor Sarah Binder. Matthew Hainson, Biological Sciences, hooded by Professor Keith Crandall. Catherine Hendren, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Catherine Newcomer. Adam Horn, Biochemistry and Systems Biology, hooded by Professor Jyoti Jaiswal. Federica Iorio, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Joseph Cordes. Nader Jamil, Biochemistry and Systems Biology, hooded by Professor Norman Lee. Clinton Jenkins, Political Science, hooded by Professor Daniel Hayes. Samuel Kaminsky, Industrial Organizational Psychology, hooded by Professor Tara Berend. Eric Carmeli, Microbiology and Immunology, hooded by Professor David Leitenberg. Mark F. Kavlik, Biological Sciences, hooded by Professor Thomas Callahan. Noel Klingler, Physics, hooded by Professor Oleg Kargaltsev. Yamchao Line, Economics, hooded by Professor Frederick Utz. Fuyan Lee, Statistics, hooded by Professor Judy Wong. Xin Li, Biostatistics, hooded by Professor Feifang Hu. Bryce Lloydalt, Political Science, hooded by Professor Alexander Downs. Rafael Lopez Monti, Economics, hooded by Professor Frederick Utz. Jan Law, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Leighton Koo. Diske Minami, Political Science, hooded by Professor Eric Grunowski. Alan Montroso, English, hooded by Professor David Mitchell. Elizabeth Mosier, English, hooded by Professor Patricia Chu. Ryan Alexander Musto, History, hooded by Professor James Hirschberg. Chongin Na, Cognitive Neuroscience, hooded by Professor Sarah Shamstein. Matthew Napoli, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Kathy Newcomer. Jacqueline Moy, Molecular Medicine, hooded by Professor Norman Lee. Samya Ortiz Hernandez, Clinical Psychology, hooded by Professor Mimi Lee. Fabiana Sofia Pereira, Political Science, hooded by Professor Emmanuel Teitelbaum. She's always been like that. Stephanie Burkale, Molecular Medicine, hooded by Professor Norman Lee. Vance Powell, Hominid Paleobiology, hooded by Professor Shannon McFarlane. Alexa Price, History, hooded by Professor Denver Brunsman. Kimberly Probalis Cedroni, American Studies, hooded by Professor Thomas Guglielmo. Devin Proctor, Anthropology, hooded by Professors Alexander Dent and Sarah Wagner. Anel Rodriguez Shiline, Political Science, hooded by Professor Henry Hale. Kyla Summers, History, hooded by Professor Eric Arneson. Haley Swenson, English, hooded by Professor Holly Dugan. Shunwei Teng, Cognitive Neuroscience, hooded by Professor Dwight Kravitz. Chelsea Ullman, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professors Ivy Ken and Mary Ellsberg. Crystal Vardaman, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Leighton Koo. Yvonne M. Watson, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Kathy Newcomer. Alaya James Allen Weesey, English, hooded by Professor David Mitchell. Jeffrey Whitebread, Political Science, hooded by Professor John Sides. Sharon Xiaohui Wu, Economics, hooded by Professor Michael Bradley. Chushen Yang, Physics, hooded by Professor Harold Kreishammer. Kai Young, Mathematics, hooded by Professor Frank Baginski. Samuel R. Yates, English, hooded by Professor David Mitchell.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in saluting all of the doctoral candidates whom we have hooded today. Please be seated. Congratulations to all of our newly hooded graduates. On behalf of the Dean, I am pleased to invite our guests, the faculty, and our honored graduates to continue today's celebration at a reception following the close of this program in the lower level of this auditorium. Please use the south stairway just to the right as you exit to join the reception. We ask that you kindly meet your party downstairs rather than waiting in front of the stairs. Graduates, please remember to wear your Columbian College medals Sunday at the National Mall, and when you are introduced and recognized by the dean, I trust that you will let everyone in Washington know that you are present. A sincere note of thanks to those who helped make today special for our graduates, including the staff in the Dean's office and Lisner Auditorium, and especially Dean Brand for introducing our candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, as you leave the building, please be mindful of your safety and that of your party. You will be exiting onto a busy street full of city traffic. Rather than linger for photos and greetings outside the building, we recommend that you move to the open space nearby in the University Yard or Kogan Plaza. To close our program, we ask everyone to join together in singing the GW Alma Mater, led by Professor Millicent Scarlett, the words and music of which you will find at the end of your program. Immediately thereafter, the Dean will lead the faculty and the graduates from the auditorium. We will appreciate your kindness in remaining in your places until the conclusion of the program and the Dean's party, the faculty, and graduates have left the auditorium. And now would you all please rise.
Hail, Alma Mater, to thy spirit guiding, knowledge thy closest friend, in its strength abiding. Pledge we fidelity, its place resigning. Hail thee, George Washington.